Good afternoon, students. Today, my topic is lacrimal apparatus. Lacrimal apparatus is concerned with secretion and drainage of lacrimal fluid or tear fluid. So, what are the components of lacrimal apparatus? Lacrimal apparatus consists of lacrimal gland and its duct, conjunctival sac, lacrimal puncta, lacrimal canaliculi, lacrimal sac, and ultimately drained by nasolacrimal duct. So the first component is what I said, lacrimal gland. This is the lacrimal gland is a serous gland situated in the anterolateral part of the roof of the bony orbit and partially on the upper eyelid. There are small accessory glands also present or found in the conjunctival fornices. These are also called, the accessory gland is called Krause's gland. So from the lacrimal gland we are seeing the passage lacrimal gland and its duct, then it goes to the conjunctival sac, then it goes to the puncta, then the lacrimal canaliculi. Both the lacrimal canaliculi is opening in the lacrimal sac, then ultimately it is drained by the nasolacrimal duct. Next. So this is, you can see in the patient the situation of the lacrimal gland in the anterolateral part of the roof of the bony orbit. See, it is pierced by dozen of the lacrimal duct which is opening in the sac on the lateral part of the superior fornix. Then it is drained by the puncta, canaliculi, lacrimal canaliculi, lacrimal sac, and ultimately by the lacrimal duct. Next. So first component what we said is the lacrimal gland. Lacrimal gland is a serous gland. It is yellowish, soft lobulated serous gland. It consists of a larger part, orbital part, and the smaller one is a palpable part. So what I said, the larger part is the orbital part and the smaller one is a palpable part. Larger orbital part is present on the anterolateral part of the roof of the bony orbit in the lacrimal fossa, and the smaller palpable part, it is superficial, it is present within the eyelid. These are pierced by dozen of lacrimal duct. You can see here. The next. So orbital part, it has a shape and size of an almond, or you can say it is a J shaped. It is indented by the before slide. It is indented by the tendon of levator palpebrae superioris. See, you can see the larger orbital part is indented by the levator tendon of levator palpebrae superioris. Next. So orbital part, the shape and size of an almond. It is lodged in the lacrimal fossa in the anterolateral part of the roof of the bony orbit, and it is present posterior to the orbital septum. Next. As already said, the palpable part, which is a smaller and superficial, which is present within the eyelid, and the duct system. The glands has dozen, that is 12 short slender ducts. They arise from the lower part of the gland. They open into the lateral part of the superior fornix of the conjunctiva. Next. So you can see the dozen of gland which is slender short ducts which is opening in the conjunctival sac in the superior fornix. Next. Next component is a conjunctival sac. Next. So what is conjunctival sac? Conjunctival sac is a space bound between the palpable and the bulbar conjunctiva, into which the lacrimal fluid is secreted and opens interiorly between the eyelid. It ends at the superior and inferior conjunctival fornices. So what is palpable conjunctiva? Palpable conjunctiva is a conjunctiva which is lining the deep surface of the palpable conjunctiva is a conjunctiva which is lining the deep surface of the eyelid, whereas bulbar conjunctiva which is lining the front of the eyeball. So space between the palpable and the bulbar conjunctiva is called conjunctival space. So what is this? This conjunctival superior and inferior conjunctival fornices, they are nothing but the lines along along the palpable conjunctiva of the upper and lower eyelid is reflected on the eyeball are called superior and inferior conjunctival fornices. So you can see the puncta here in the patient. In this you can see the puncta. Next, after the conjunctival sac, so we have finished the lacrimal gland and the conjunctival sac. The next component is lacrimal puncta and the lacrimal canaliculi. So puncta we have seen in the previous picture, the lacrimal canaliculi. What are they? Lacrimal canaliculi are the hollow tubes of 0.5 mm in diameter connecting the puncta to the lacrimal sac. It has two parts. So total it is around 10 mm. Vertical part is 2 mm in length and the horizontal part is 8 to 10 mm in length. The upper canaliculi is slightly shorter than the lower. There is a dilatation at the junction of these two parts is called ampulla. Now the canaliculi, both the canaliculi opens into the lacrimal sac. Next slide. So the lacrimal sac. So next component is lacrimal sac. It is a membranous sac which is about 12 mm long, or you can take variation 12 to 15 mm in length, 4 to 6 mm anterior-posteriorly, 2 to 3 mm wide. And where it is situated? Is situated in lies in the lacrimal fossa formed by the lacrimal bone and frontal process of maxilla in the anterior part of medial wall of the orbit, which is continuous below with the nasolacrimal duct. So lacrimal sac is a 12 mm roughly. It is present in the lacrimal groove behind the medial palpebral ligament, and your lacrimal canaliculi opens into the lateral wall of the lacrimal sac. Okay, next slide. So the next component from the lacrimal sac, you can go to the fluid goes to the nasolacrimal duct. So nasolacrimal duct is also a membranous passage, where we have seen the lacrimal sac was also membranous sac, whereas the nasolacrimal duct is also a membranous passage. It is total about 18 mm long. So it is divided into two parts. The interosseous part is 12.5 mm and interosseous part is 12.5 mm and the intermeatal part is 5.5 mm. So total it is 18 mm. It runs downward, forward, downward, backward, laterally, and opens into the inferior meatus of the nose. It is bounded by a fold of mucous membrane called wall of Hasner. It is an imperfect wall at the lower end of the duct, which prevents air from entering the lacrimal sac on sudden blowing of nose. So ultimately from the previous slides. Previous. Yeah. So we have studied the components. Lacrimal gland, which is a serous gland. It has a orbital part, larger orbital part, and a smaller superficial palpebral part. And it has a dozen of ducts. Then the second component is conjunctival sac. This lacrimal gland is secreting the tear fluid. It is released into the superior fornix of the conjunctival sac. Then from the conjunctival sac, it goes to the superior and inferior fornix of the conjunctiva, which is at the puncta, then to the lacrimal canaliculi. Then it opens into the lateral wall of the lacrimal sac, which is present in the lacrimal groove behind the medial palpebral ligament. Then from the lacrimal sac is a membranous sac. Then from the membranous sac, that is lacrimal sac, it opens into the membranous passage, that is nasolacrimal duct. Ultimately, it opens into the inferior meatus of nose and it is bounded by an imperfect wall, that is wall of Hasner. So, this is the lacrimal apparatus, this which is nothing but the formation and secretion and transport of tear fluid from the gland to the sac, to the puncta, to the canaliculi, to this lacrimal sac, ultimately into the nasolacrimal duct. So, what is the clinical importance? What is the applied anatomy of your lacrimal apparatus? Next slide. Next. So, inflammation of the lacrimal sac is called dacrocystitis. Inflammation of the lacrimal sac. It may occur in two forms, congenital dacrocystitis or in adult dacrocystitis. Adult dacrocystitis has acute and chronic. Next. So, this is a picture you can see. This is a acute dacrocystitis, which is nothing but the inflammation of the lacrimal sac. The duct of lacrimal gland open into the palpable part into the conjunctival sac, as I already said. Because of this arrangement, whenever you want to remove the palpable part of the gland, the removal of orbital part is also must. Next slide. So, next applied anatomy, clinical anatomy of the lacrimal apparatus is watering of the eye. So, watering of the eye is also called epiphora. Now, this watering of, there is a excessive secretion of lacrimal fluid overflowing on the cheeks is called epiphora. Epiphora may result due to obstruction in the lacrimal fluid pathway either at the level of punctum or canaliculi or nasolacrimal duct. So, next slide, you can see there is a obstruction in the flow in the tear fluid either in the punctum, it may be either in the punctum or canaliculi. So, there is excessive secretion. This condition is called epiphora. So, this is all about your lacrimal apparatus. Lacrimal apparatus you have to define first. It is nothing but the formation and secretion of the tear fluid. Then you have to talk about the components. Then each component you have to explain. Then you have to draw the neat well labeled diagram about the lacrimal apparatus. And at last you have to mention about the applied anatomy or clinical anatomy of your lacrimal apparatus. Thank you, students.